I think they like the sexy openings.
They like the sexy openings,
Yeah.
huh? Especially since there's three of us. They like the introduction of the weekly threesome, huh?
Yeah, I think they do.
Well, welcome everyone to the weekly threesome with Ginell. I am your co-host, Kat, the night editor, and with me, as always, is everyone's favorite alien in a human suit.
Me, the alien guy.
Who is me?
J.Ishiro Finney, author, alien in a human suit, and we're officially renaming this the Monday Threesome. I will make the graphic card, so next week that's what it'll be called.
Okay. I
I
I
liked
I,
that.
I can get down on that.
Get down on it.
I can get down on that.
And with us also is
Ginell, mom, pop culture connoisseur, part of the threesome, into gingers and aliens.
into gingers and aliens. That's a good.
Those are two of my favorite things.
Actually, I really do dig in gingers and aliens. Gingers are rad, and I think aliens are awesome.
Well, maybe next time you're visiting or we're on the phone, you can honestly pick my brain about all the stuff I know.
Oh, I would totally love to.
So tonight, oh wait, no, this is always a good thing.
Termin Sheepy, can't wait for Kami Slayer.
Yes, well, the comic, it's not in production yet. I'm still writing a different book, but for the hell of it, I am doing another movie trailer for it because why not? And we had a lot of fun recording them. But Ginell has seen the Ghostbusters Afterlife film, and I am happy to be wrong. I am very happy to be completely wrong, apparently. It delivered.
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised. They actually stuck to the lore. Steve and I both agreed it was a movie that had diversity without ham-fisting wokeness. No wokeness. It was unreal. It was refreshing. It was beautiful. It goes more into Ivo Shandor and his worship of Gozer. The Egon's daughter is very bitter that he abandoned her, but here's the interesting part. She's a loser. Like, when was the last time you saw a woman in a movie that's a loser? She's a loser. Like, Steve and I both talked about, like, she's bitter. And I think maybe part of the reason that we were like, yeah, she's definitely a loser is because we know what Egon did, whereas she's like, he abandoned me. So maybe that was audience bias. But I mean, she was a loser. Her kids even call her out for mismanaging money and putting them into the shitty situation they're in.
Dude.
There's a couple of red herrings that are really funny when the red herring is exposed. You're like, oh shit, that's funny.
All right, everyone. Warning now. Spoiler heavy.
Yeah.
So
I don't
don't
want
get
to
mad
spoil
at
it.
us.
Oh, wait, do you guys want me to spoil? Because I don't want to spoil. I don't want to ruin it for you. Because,
Well,
I
how about
mean,
spoiler warning? There may be spoilers. How about that?
We kind of know the outline already and have had a number of spoilers already revealed. So it's
okay.
not ruined for us, but I don't want to piss off the audience.
Okay. So I will try to do my best to keep the spoilers to a minimum. I will say that this movie is very family friendly. It still has good Ghostbusters humor, but you can tell that this movie was made for the adults and kids that watched Ghostbusters when it first came out to show now their kids and grandkids. There were actually grandparents there that we saw bring their grandkids. It was really cool to see. And we took Chris's two best buds, Steve and I did. And Chris and his two friends both said that it was the best movies they've ever seen. And Chris is a pretty hardcore Ghostbusters fan. So I took that to heart, like, okay, they did good. Really good comedy. The brother is actually not a loser. He actually has a very good relationship with his sister. It's not an antagonist situation where the girl is better than the brother. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. And he's a pretty good big brother. And where she's more like Egon, which I mean, you can tell that from the trailers. You know, she has the glasses, the funky curly hair. The brother is a car genius. I mean, you see it in the trailers too. He's the one that repairs the Ecto One. There's like no talking down to, except when the mom is talking to him, and it's typical parental talking down to. What else? I'm trying to. Okay, so the terror dogs are rad, and they actually go into. They show that there is a book that had the listing of the terror dogs and like explanations. You actually see different sculptures and statues of the terror dogs, and you get to see them in different ethereal forms. You don't see them just as the dogs. You see them in their spirit forms too, which I thought was really cool to see.
Do we get to see a giant slore?
What's that?
Uh-oh.
Oh
in
no.
in the first film, when Lewis is under the influence of
Oh my God. You mean when he's got the colander on his head with the wires in it? Oh Jesus.
well, no, he's ranting about how Gozer goes from reality to reality, choosing a different form as the Destructor, and in one of the realities that he goes to, he changes himself to look like a giant slore, and it says, "What was it? Many was the day where people roasted in the belly of a slore that day. I'll tell you."
I forgot about that. Okay. I thought like you were saying slore as in a form of the terror dog, and I was like, did I miss something?
Oh no. Well, no, kinda, because this was
Yeah.
again when Lewis was possessed by Vince Clortho.
I am going to say this is a spoiler, but I want people not to get their hopes up. Rick Moranis has stuck with his retirement, so he is not in the film. I was a little bummed about that, but I understand the reasons why he retired from Hollywood. So if he didn't want to come back, cool. I'm glad that that's his choice. And but everybody else does in one way or another, and it's quite amusing. There's a mid-credit scene that is very amusing.
I've actually seen the mid-credit scene and I've seen the end credit scene, and I will admit the end credit scene caused me to cry last night.
We did not get to see the end credit scene because all three kids had to pee. In fact, one of the kids was literally holding their crotch. I was like, oh, we got to go. So I'm going to have to watch it on YouTube. But the mid-credit scene actually had me in hysterics because of the two people that were in it and what was happening. I was like, that is perfect.
Have you seen them?
Yeah, I watched them last night.
How?
On YouTube.
They're already out?
Yeah, somebody took it to somebody in Mexico took it to a drive-in, and so I watched the mid credits and the end credit scenes that way. And yeah, the mid credit scene that was good. I was very happy. I was totally grinning ear to ear. And again, the end credit scene, I was totally tearing up on that one. So
well I need to see it then, because I actually was tearing up at the very end of the movie. It was so not just poetic. I mean, it was like everything came together. It was like right there. You had the perfect moment, and it was just like you have to see it. I don't want to ruin the ending because it was the most wonderful ending to the chapter of the original Ghostbusters. They've pretty much set it up that these kids are basically gonna take over, because each kid, that's the four kids, slots into a character one way or another. And I'm gonna say right now, the best character in that entire movie is the kid named Podcast.
Really?
A lot of people have been complaining about him.
Are you kidding? Okay, then do you mind if I go spoiler heavy on this one?
We actually know the spoilers, so go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah. The kid's Ray Stantz, literally to a T. And that's why they call him Podcast. And even at the end of the movie, you find out the kid's one subscriber is Ray Stantz.
Really?
He even has Ray's hair. You know how it was like always sticking up like he'd been electrocuted? The kid,
Yeah.
and he wears the same goggles that Ray does, except he made them where they have a Polaroid in them, so he can click the night vision goggles and then take a Polaroid. I mean, the kid is fucking great, and that was actually Chris and his friends. That was their favorite character too. I was like,
Really?
this kid is Ray. It was unbelievable. We all agreed that was like the best character in the movie. The second best character being Egon's granddaughter, because she's literally Egon. It's so funny. She even has his humor that nobody gets except for her brother, who is Venkman.
Her brother's Venkman.
Her brother's a con artist?
Now, see, that's
No,
interesting.
I want to say, when I say Venkman, I say that he's trying to get the girls by impressing them, but instead of having Venkman's charm, he fails really bad. Like, he lies about his age, says he's 17, but he's only 15.
Now, see, that's interesting because one of the reviews that I saw, they said that it was the other chick who was Venkman.
She has Venkman's cynicism. But actually, you know what? Maybe they're a blend, because, yeah, she has the cynicism of Venkman, which I thought was brilliant. And the brother, I'm forgetting the names of the kids because I was so focused on the actual story. The brother was...
That's good.
Yeah, oh my God, I love this movie. We're going to go see it again next week. I'm pretty excited. That's how much I liked it. I don't...
Oh, wow.
That speaks very, very highly of it.
That's praise.
Here's the thing. When Kat and I did the trailer review, we both came away with the sense that this was probably not for us. It looked like the Goonies meets Ghostbusters, and we really feared that it was going to be a Steven Spielberg film, 80s kids film, with Ghostbusters nostalgia paved all over it. That was our fear. Are we wrong?
No, I mean, the only Goonies thing, in my opinion, is the fact that it's kids. That's it. But it keeps the same soundtrack. It keeps the same shit-talking humor. Like I said, the one kid is literally Ray Stantz. I mean, to a T. There are some funny scenes where, kids trying to put on the proton packs and like experimenting with the guns for the first time. It is actually funny because you're watching a little girl trying to hold a proton pack, and instead of just hitting her target, she vaporizes a tractor trailer. So I mean, that to me would be the Goonies part. But there's still adult stuff too. Like, Paul Rudd isn't who you think he is, but in a good way. I know that a lot of people, the theories that you saw on the internet, those are completely wrong. That actually Paul Rudd is one of the red herrings that I thought was brilliant.
So he doesn't turn out to be Vince Clortho, the Keymaster?
No, he does. But the theories I saw was that he was Ivo Shandor's descendant, come to restart everything.
Never heard that theory, but that's okay.
Oh, no. See, that was the theory I heard. Oh, no, he's Vince Clortho. It's hysterical because the kids walk in on the gatekeeper and the keymaster hump him.
Oh, they do. Okay,
they don't show it. They don't show it, but it is heavily implied because when they are able to...
I know it's the mom, so...
Yeah. They exercise the gatekeeper from the mom, and the Ray Stantz kid says that you got a little snarly, drooly, and then humpy.
Wow.
And she's like, humpy?
Okay,
yeah.
You know what? I give them props because the first thing I wondered was, okay, do they bang? And I totally thought they'd wimp out on that. So that's cool to hear that no, they don't wimp out. Also, I was convinced that the teacher character, his sole purpose was to be the idiot adult that makes the kids look smart, but to hear that no, he actually has a part to play in the plot makes me very happy.
He's a seismologist, and he's ended up in the town teaching summer school because he's actually trying to figure out why a place with no tectonics and no fracking is having seismic activity, but the seismic activity is like explosions. because he explains the S waves, and I forget what the other wave was, but they go into a whole thing, and he's been studying it. He says it's really weird, and that's what brought him to the town. And he's this, like I said, he's the summer school teacher, but he doesn't really want to teach science, so he shows the kids horror movies every day. And one day he shows them Cujo, and another scene it shows that he's showing them Child's Play.
Wow.
But he's not an idiot, but he's a huge Ghostbusters fanboy. And so he does some fanboy things, but you have to realize he's like our age. So he grew up watching the Ghostbusters in real time. And so no, he's not an idiot at all. He's actually, experiment beep bop boop said SMP waves. Thank you. Yes, they said the waves were backwards. It wasn't tectonic. It was more like an explosion coming up from underground. So yeah, and like I said, the mom is kind of a loser and very bitter, and she's kind of screwed over her kid's life by being still very bitter about her father abandoning her. And like I said, we had audience bias. We knew why dad left.
Question.
Mhm.
When she becomes Zool,
Yes.
does she put on the Red Whore of Babylon outfit like Dana did?
No, she gets a better outfit. Hers is actually gold, and she makes it herself out of what's it called? The energy that not ectoplasm. Is it ectoplasm? The energy that's around Ghost. Yes, she's able to make this shining gold dress that has like a cape, but not like a cheesy cape. Like she looks very. I don't want to say it's a horror dress. It's kind of like in between classy and whorish is what I would say.
The queen.
Because I think they were trying to make it, she's a mom, so they didn't want her to be too whorish, you know?
Well, I mean, the gag was in Ghostbusters is that it's sort of the biblical apocalypse, but in fact, the biblical apocalypse was actually what was going on there seen through a religious lens, where actually the events are some weird religion we've never heard of. And that Dana wears that red outfit. Well, I don't know. Anyone who's read the Bible, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, the Whore of Babylon in the scarlet dress, riding the dragon with seven. Is it not 7 heads? It's 7 horns. Each horn representing the big kingdoms.
5 heads, 7 horns.
So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. That it was kind of a merging of a biblical apocalypse and the Lovecraftian cosmic horror. And you say they keep that?
Yeah, actually, I think it bent more towards Lovecraftian, even though they made the point that Gozer is a god. You can't kill a god.
No.
You can close the gate on the god, but that's one of the things about the movie is they actually show that there's specific things in time. Like Gozer's really attracted to our dimension and Earth, and they actually have a timeline where you can see Gozer trying to get in to the world and using cataclysms like the explosion of Krakatoa.
Oh, Krakatoa as well?
Yeah, and then World War II. And then they show the next one was 1984 and the New York incident. And then it showed 2021. But here was the thing, and they had it partially hitting. You could see more years, and one of them was another 20. So I was like, oh, like this shit's not over. But yeah, they show there's a timeline carved into the temple. And one of the other cool things about the movie is that Egon, in his obsession, came up with better and better traps and like ways to trap ghosts, which I thought was brilliant, including a taser that the taser is used to explode the Stay Puft Marshmallow minis, and it's hysterical to watch them blow up.
Sounds like the boson darts in the video game.
Yes. He actually I think he took the PKE meter and put a taser on it. And that's what they were the Ray Stantz kid was using, because they did a callback to the original movie where he comes out of the car covered in dead marshmallow. And it's so funny to see, because if you remember, you guys remember, but the end of the first Ghostbusters movie, who was the one that was covered the most in dead marshmallow? It was Ray.
It was Ray and Winston.
Poor both. Winston, yeah.
Yes.
Ernie Hudson took one for the team in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although Peck, I would say, got it the worst.
Yeah.
I wish they would have brought back Walter Peck. That movie was missing a bureaucrat. That's maybe my only complaint. It was missing a bureaucrat. You need the bureaucrat just because, and maybe it's just because William Atherton played such good assholes in the 80s.
You need the unbeliever, who will, not believe what's right in front of their eyes to the absolute, like, detriment of their own life, simply just so that they can say, I was right. And he was so brilliant in that role. Between Walter Peck and
The mayor.
no, what's his name? Hathaway in Real Genius.
Oh, he was
yeah.
so good as Hathaway in Real Genius. I actually thought he did better in that one than Ghostbusters. I really liked him as Jerry Hathaway.
Mm-hmm.
There was he was also in
That's a
Biodome.
popcorn monster.
Oh, you know what? Jesus, I'm sorry. We did forget. We were going to do a Men in Black stream.
Well,
God, we
Ghostbusters came
suck.
out.
I'm sorry. I
Okay.
got so excited about Ghostbusters Afterlife.
So it's going to have to be after Thanksgiving then.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Well, no, we're the ones who forgot. We got caught up in Ghost Fever.
Actually, people in the comments are pointing out the sheriff was the bureaucrat, and the kids actually do get arrested because they take the modified Ecto-1 and try to catch a new ghost that they call Muncher. And it's literally a cross between the caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland and a water bear. It is.
That's what I
disgusting.
thought. I thought it looked like a water bear.
Yes. It was like something you'd see in your nightmares. And the kids decide they're going to catch the ghost, and they eventually catch the ghost, but they've like wrecked 1/4 of the town because they don't really know how to control the.
Okay,
Oh,
good,
okay.
because they did not show mass destruction in the trailer.
That was actually one of my biggest
the
complaints.
old movie theater.
One of my biggest complaints watching the trailer is I was thinking there's a distinct lack of property damage here. So to hear no, they actually do like destroy the town chasing this thing. It's like, okay, I feel better.
Like you feel kind of bad because those are historical monuments because it's an old town. The kids are just running through, and they, like I said, they catch the ghost, but then they get arrested because the brother has a lead foot and has failed his DMV test 3 times.
Oh, that's good. That's a good element.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, the brother is not a loser. That's one thing I really liked about this movie. It was not woke at all. It had diversity and equality without shoving it in your face. There were people of all ethnicities, and they were just there. They weren't there because of their ethnicity. They were just there. And no antagonizing relationship between the brother and sister. There was no angsty relationship between the mom and her kids. The mom actually goes out on a date with Paul Rudd, and that's how they find out the kids got arrested. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't suck. It is more family oriented, like I said, because this movie was made for parents and grandparents to enjoy with their kids and grandkids and have that same experience that they had in 1984. I highly recommend seeing it. I don't think it's too Goonie-ish.
Okay.
I think it's really got the heart of Ghostbusters in it. I think Jason Reitman took the movie very seriously, especially because of the end of the movie. They show something that I thought was really interesting. Not all ghosts get sucked in by the trap. It's only the evil ghosts or the ghosts that are restless, because Egon's ghost shows up at the end to help his granddaughter hold the gun with the other 3 original Ghostbusters. And that's when I started getting tears, because they did a very good job with Harold Ramis, and putting his face on and aging it just enough, and he has gray hair and he's blue. Whereas all the other ghosts have some sort of reddish Yeah, you notice how like all in Ghostbusters everything has like a reddish hue to it.
I mean,
All the
I actually
evil.
recall them having kind of a puke green or a sickly green hue.
It depended
The
on the ghost,
poltergeists do.
Yeah.
because there's also the ones that are pure white.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
But yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say it, it kind of proves that not all ghosts are bad because throughout the movie you don't see Egon till the end. But throughout the movie, Egon is still in the house. He purposely had himself killed by a terror dog in his own house so he could haunt his own house, so he could drop hints to his grandkids and his daughter, which was brilliant. And
Okay, that makes sense, because I was trying to figure out how is this girl, how are both kids just stumbling across this stuff? And I know what the house is. I did find that out. So, but if he's there, it kind of guiding them. Okay, you know what? I agree with that. I like that.
what was
So
really, oh, just one thing. What was really neat that I also thought was funny is that the three characters are nonplussed about a friggin' ghost communicating with them because they know about, his daughter knew that she was a Ghostbuster. She knew ghosts existed. The grandkids didn't know, but once they learned, then they were like, huh, like, okay, great. Grandpa is here, like talking to us and, doing things, moving stuff around. Like they were just so nonplussed about grandpa haunting the house.
So the next question that I think everyone wants to know, the three remaining living Ghostbusters apparently appear in the film.
Yes.
Well, how was it handled?
Very well. It's handled like it should have been handled. Let me put it to you this way. This is how Star Wars sequels should have handled how you bring back the originals. So the kids, they have contacted, the granddaughter has contacted Ray, but she is cut off by the sheriff because she gets her one phone call from being arrested. She doesn't call her mom. She calls Ray Stantz and starts asking questions. And you find out that the four of them had a fallout because Egon got obsessed with the fact that he knew Gozer was coming back and it was going to be 1,000 times worse. But they took it as he just had become too obsessed. So he basically jacks everything, leaves them in a lurch, and takes off. So they all separate, and Ray is really pissed because Ray, being the true believer, like he trusted Egon and just he left. And so he's very bitter. Whereas you find out Venkman has become a professor teaching advertising and business, I think at Columbia. And then Winston got into the stock market and is super wealthy. But Ray stayed a true believer and he had his little store. And so he's still doing his research on ghosts. And so when the girl says, "I'm the granddaughter of Egon Spangler," and the phone hangs up, you can see Ray, like you see the wheels start turning. So right at the climax of the movie, Gozer is attacking. They're failing miserably. All of a sudden, three more proton packs show up and start zapping Gozer. And Venkman starts talking shit to Gozer again. Like, I told you, baby, we were over back then. Why are you back now? Just talking mad shit. And he's like, and then it is getting mad. And they're like, oh, you remember us, don't you? And you can see Gozer recognize him and is visibly pissed off. And there's the whole, just like in the first movie, they fail the first time, but then they're like, you know what, if we're gonna die, we're gonna give it our all. And then that's when Egon manifests and helps his granddaughter. And then the grandson has the fifth pack that's in the car, and he figures out that to get basically the entire farm Egon owns is one giant trap for a god. He figures out if you throw the energy at the power, I forgot what they're called, basically like giant batteries that Egon built, it charges it, and that's how they were able to capture Gozer and keep Gozer trapped for the time being. But then you see them at the end. Egon, he doesn't speak, obviously, because Harold Ramis is dead, but they all get to say their goodbyes. Egon says his goodbye to his grandkids. you see Winston go over to the car and say that, you haven't been treated right. We're going to take you back home and fix you back up. And you see Venkman talking to the mom and says, yeah, we're going to go inside and have some hot cocoa. And some of us are going to have it with rum. And then you have Ray and little Ray talking about the podcast. So I thought it was handled beautifully. They were brought in. It was the theater erupted in like cheers because everybody had waiting. Everybody knew it was coming. And they show up and it's just like the first movie all over again. And, they think they're going to fail, but then they're like, fuck it. I mean, remember the first movie, they were like, we're going to have to cross the streams, which means we're probably going to die, but fuck it. We're going to save the world. They had basically that moment again. Like, we're old. We're probably going to die anyway. So let's just give it our all and just fuck this bitch up. That's basically the attitude they have. And it turns out beautifully. And like I said, by this point, I had tears. Everybody was happy. You could hear sniffling in the theater. So yeah, I mean, it's how Star Wars should have done it. Seriously.
Well, there's a lot of things Star Wars should have done.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now, like I said, Jason Reitman really respected the material, and you knew that they respected Harold Ramis because at the end of the movie, it ends with Egon finally departing Earth, and it says for Harold, and everybody's like, oh, and but he was so respectful to the source material, and he didn't, how do I want to put it? He didn't make it insulting. He kept it the way it was supposed to be. He just made it more family friendly. And I really hope that they keep going with the kids. And I really hope that Jason Reitman sticks with it. Because not only that, he had to be respectful to his dad, too. I mean, his dad helped write and direct and produce the films. So, and then there's the mid-credits scene where Dana's electrocuting Peter with his his electrocution kit from the first movie.
But that scene was great because it's why she's doing it. I mean,
oh yeah,
that was just brilliant.
Well, I think they really should have stuck with him becoming a media personality and sticking with the con artist angle.
Having his TV show.
Yeah, I thought that was the best part of the second film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I heard World of something, right?
World of the Psychic.
Yes, that was so good. I thought that he was gonna go back and do that too, but I thought it was really funny that he was teaching advertising to kids at Columbia University. I was like, that fits Venkman. He went back to being a professor because he did like being a professor, but he was basically teaching kids how to be madmen. I thought that was really funny because I was like, that fits Peter.
Especially it being Columbia, because Columbia is the one that kicked them out in the first movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot. Olivia Wilde does emote too much as Gozer, but Shora Agdalishu, that Iranian actress that has that really husky, sexy voice. Mm-hmm. She's the voice of Gozer, and it sounds so good.
Cool.
But yeah, Olivia, you know how the first Gozer didn't really emote too much, maybe had a little curl of the lip. Yeah, there was a little bit more like gnashing of teeth and frowning and like yelling and being pissed.
Well, the first Gozer was a model and nothing else.
Yeah. I think they made Gozer look even more cool because Gozer, you know how in the first movie it was sequins and crystals and pearls and looked very like 80s punk rock meets Madonna.
I call it Flashdance Gozer.
The Gozer armor this time is Gozer's armor is translucent and you can see the energy of the skeleton inside Gozer moving around. And you can see the energy build up before it shoots out its lightning.
They should have done the original idea. You know what the original idea for Gozer was, right?
No.
Paul Rubens in a suit.
Oh, Jesus, that would have been beautiful.
Yeah.
Pee-wee
the
Herman.
Idea was originally, well, this was actually before they knew him as Pee-wee Herman.
Yeah.
I mean, he was known in the stand-up comedy scene as Pee-wee, but he wasn't really a household name yet.
No.
And the original script, the idea was that A very slender but sinister looking man in a suit walks out of that gate, and just everyone's like, this is the monster.
And they wanted Paul Rubens.
That would have changed everything for Pee Wee Herman later on. If
Yeah,
he would have done that, I don't think Pee Wee Herman would have taken off like it did, because everybody would think that he was Gozer the Gozerian.
Mm-hmm.
Still, that would have been really funny to see.
I just think if you're gonna have Gozer show back up, not in the Stay Puft form, do something completely and utterly different.
Yeah, I was a little I don't want to say disappointed, but I think that was part of the red herring part, because Ivo Shandor does show up and cameoed by J.K. Simmons. And you're
Oh,
thinking that Gozer's
really?
going to, yeah, perfect choice if you ask me. He was
Yeah.
preserved in a Snow White coffin in the pit that was the temple that he built to Gozer. And you think that that's who Gozer's going to possess. And if you want, I can get spoilery, because it was a red herring that I was just like, oh shit, that really happened. He's singing praises to Gozer. He's so happy Gozer has come. He finally gets to be rewarded, and Gozer vivisects him immediately. Just tears him in half. And that was like, because I mean, they come in and they find the coffin, and so you're thinking like he's going to come back and be the new form that Gozer's going to possess. Instead, Gozer's like, fuck you, grabs him by his hair and rips him in half, and then goes and sits on their throne with their terror dogs. And and the kids are watching this like, holy shit, what just happened?
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and I've just told you about the whole movie. I still recommend watching it. Like I said, I've seen the movie. I know what's going to happen, and I am still going to go see it again because I thought it was that good.
Nice.
Well, again, I'm glad to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We had both hoped we were wrong, and for once we got our wish.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
am
so
happy
often-
to be
It
wrong.
gives me
So
hope.
Yeah, so often we see these previews and we're like, okay, well, I really hope.
Well,
It looks like shit. I hope I'm wrong.
well, it's bad when, so often going through the trailers, it's like, okay, this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen, and then find out the spoilers, like, God fucking damn it, I was right. So I'm glad to be wrong.
I was going to say, they hid a lot in the trail. They didn't show much in the trailers. They showed funny scenes like the mini marshmallows, but that's not half the funny. Like, that was just to get people interested. Now, I will say, if you go on YouTube and you pause the scenes where they show what the marshmallows are doing to each other, there's some great shit that they're doing. Like, did you see the Terminator 2 callback?
No.
Okay, one of the marshmallow guys is melting on the grill, and as he's melting, he puts his thumb up like Terminator 2.
Oh, God.
There's another one that's drooling down and sucking its spit back up, while another one's like, don't touch me with it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny. You really should. Like I said, just pause it on YouTube and you can see how much they put in with those little fuckers running around and killing each other for fun.
Why do they exist is my question.
I think that was more a Easter egg callback, because Stay Puft still exists in that universe. And as Gozer is trying to escape from its prison, more and more shit starts happening, just like in New York. And so instead of having the big Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, you get the little Stay Puft guys. And that literally was just a callback to the first movie that was supposed to be funny. And I actually thought it was amusing, because you see how these cute little marshmallow men are just completely dim-witted but sadistic. Yeah, like that's the best way. They are dim-witted but sadistic towards each other. I mean, they're sitting there torturing each other the whole time for fun. And yeah, I mean, just that was a fun callback. It really doesn't mean anything except for haha. And I think it was more meant for the kids that were watching the movie. Because I'll tell you right now, the three kids were laughing their asses off. They thought that was the greatest thing ever. They were just like, oh my God, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men, but there's so many.
Okay, so what was the standout scene, your favorite scene for you?
My favorite scene for me was all four of the Ghostbusters and the grandkids and the other kids banding together at the end to kick Gozer's ass and succeeding very well. And also the mom is involved. She actually is the one that is able to throw the trap at the end when they're all busy trying to contain Gozer and the terror dog, and her son is charging the battery, and Ray Jr. Oh, that's the thing. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Men aren't just cute. You find out that they were sent to infiltrate. They become gremlins. They actually are destroying the proton packs and melting themselves on it so it gets sticky and fucked up.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's clever.
and so somebody needs to throw the trap, and the mom flips the trap, and these huge traps open up and grab Gozer. It was really cool, but that was my favorite scene. I was like, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what a sequel should be when it's generational. This is how a movie should be.
Well, again, I am glad that we did not get the shit show that Disney gave Star Wars. That's
no.
what I said.
This actually was respectful.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was respectful. Now, I know some people are probably going to disagree with me. Maybe I missed some cues or clues, but for me, I thought it was very well done. And there's probably stuff that I missed too, because I've heard the movie is full of Easter eggs that are callbacks to the first two movies.
I know there's the
And
stacked books in the house.
yes, that was the first thing I recognized in the house. I was like, Steve, check it out. It's the stacked books. It's a library. Great side story. I'm going to embarrass my husband here a little bit. His uncle took him and his cousins to go see Ghostbusters, and they were all sitting in the front. And Steve's cousin got pissed at him because when the librarian scares the shit out of all of them, it scared the shit out of Steve, and he threw their popcorn in the air.
Oh no.
She escapes the trap?
The librarian in the first
Yeah.
movie? No, remember they
She's
they
never
go
captured
in
the first movie.
Oh, you're right. She's still loose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
She's
they
not
say,
captured
get
till the
her,
video
and she
game.
freaks out.
Yeah, it's not till the video game that she's captured.
Oh, yeah, Chicken Sith's right. The chair attack in the beginning of the movie has the same holes in it and the same spots as when Dana was attacked by Zool.
Oh, that's
Like I
cool.
said, there are so many Easter eggs. It's really good. That's Robert Redford.
Yes, it is. Well, that's World War Kaiju. I just figured, you know what? We'll do some free advertising while we talk about a movie.
See, that is a story that needs to be made into a movie. Or at least
World
a
War
really cool
Kaiju?
anime. Yes.
Oh, I would love that. That would be so much fun. Yeah, I tried to talk the audio comics company into doing it as an audio, but nah, weren't interested.
Well, at the time.
Okay, let's see.
Cesario, the missed opportunity for Star Wars to reunite Han, Luke, and Leia with Lando for one scene. Just one scene.
Yeah. And do you remember when Mark Hamill put out that meme that had everybody in it, like
Yeah.
at their different ages, and like everybody got pissed at him saying like, you're shitting all over Rey and her significance. I'm like, yeah,
Yes,
because
exactly.
Rey sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
watch
you
me part
made-
my cheeks and do it again.
Yeah.
No shit. So that's pretty much Ghostbusters. I think I spoiled the entire film, but I also highly recommend that people see it. If any of you out there have kids or you have nieces and nephews or brothers and sisters, I highly recommend you taking them to see it. They will be highly impressed, and I think that will really get them into Ghostbusters.
Okay.
Chicken Sith, Ginell, how about that automatic PKE triggered stream crossing in the cave to keep Gozer in check?
That was fucking lit. Oh my God, that was the best trap I have ever seen. That they actually, Egon had figured out how to make a trap with the proton packs that could keep Gozer and its minions at bay in the temple. That was what was causing the explosions and the earthquakes. When Gozer was trying to escape, the streams would cross and like create this like cross, and it would shove everything back down. But that's what was causing the explosions, the force of them trying to come out. It was really cool.
I buy that. That works.
Yeah, like I said,
totally
Egon
works.
has come up with new ways to defeat ghosts. You also find out that Ivo Shandor, the reason he bought the mine out in that town was to get the specific metal to build the building in New York. That's where it really connects. So it's
That's interesting.
Shandor Mine.
Which
And
actually is part of the lore.
Really?
Yeah, Shandor was a doctor in Europe who performed unnecessary experiments on people, unnecessary surgeries. When he was run out of town, he came over here to the United States to become an architect. And the creepy thing is he's based on somebody real. That is an actual person. I don't remember what his name is, but who would do those types of surgeries, came here and became an architect. But the lore is that Ivo then used his money and he bought mines, he bought an island, he bought a whole mess of other things. So yeah, that's actually part of the lore. So they didn't make that up for the movie. That's actually in there.
Yeah, I don't think it's over. Like I said, I think they're going to continue on, but I honestly think maybe they kind of took some hints from Star Wars and like, hey, Star Wars fucked this up. Let's do a franchise right.
Well, I'm going to say that the next film, no Gozer.
I hope not.
Really, they
no,
need to
I
do
think
something
Gozer's
entirely new.
No, that you didn't see the end credit scene.
We need a new cosmic monster, a terror from beyond, or something else, something different. Maybe an elder race has risen. Yeah.
You know, something.
Just something that isn't Gozer, because you can only blow the Death Star up so many times, and the Death Star can only get so big before it's just stupid. If you know what I mean.
I mean, like an entire planet.
Yeah, exactly.
That pissed me off.
Hey, do you remember that episode of the original Battlestar Galactica where they needed to get past this ice planet that had an entire base on it with a giant laser, and they had to go down and blow it up? Otherwise, the Galactica couldn't move on? That sounds familiar.
You're kidding me. It stole it from the original series, the Lauren Green series?
Yes.
Wow. J.J. Abrams is a hack. I mean, I knew he was a
douchebag.
hack. I mean, Super 8 is literally Goonies meets Stand By Me.
Seriously?
Yeah. I mean, it was fun to watch, but Steve and I were both like, this is Stand By Me and Goonies wrapped into one movie. Just, he can't come up with his own original shit, apparently. So,
Ugh.
all right, well, there's my Ghostbusters review. Highly recommend. What is Star Crash? Please tell me. I'm ignorant.
Oh, Star Crash with Caroline Munro. It's a Italian sci-fi Star Wars ripoff.
Oh my God! So a ripoff, ripped off a ripoff.
Yeah, it's like a cross between Star Wars ripoff and Barbarella.
Oh,
there you go. There's Caroline Munro.
Does Cinema Snob review it?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
A lot of people
Cinema Snob and Brandon Tenold.
Brandon?
Yes, Brandon.
Does he go?
Brandon goes. Brandon goes all the way.
Okay.
Right, here we go. Okay. Can you all see this?
Can you see this?
I can see it.
You don't have to hear anything. It's fun.
Well, actually, if she hears it, it'll get banned.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, they'll kill the sound. It's stupid.
I'm just saying that you don't actually need the sound.
Now, the thing is if they had really stolen from Star Crash, I think I would have enjoyed it more.
But, well,
Oh,
yeah,
look at
because
that.
then
Oh my God, is that Christopher Plummer?
Yes, in a role that he wasn't too happy about, but he needed the money.
but
And yeah,
oh, I was just gonna say I really wouldn't want to see Ray wearing the same outfits as Caroline Monroe.
they would fall off. She has no curves
Yeah.
to wear them on.
And
I was gonna say,
considering
she's a
Caroline's
stick.
basically wearing gaffer's tape, that's saying a lot.
Okay. I imagine Mafia Ghosts would be like one. Okay. Star Crash. Actually, no, I'm surprised we have not. Yeah, that's their equivalent to the Death Star in this film, a giant claw.
Are you
So
kidding me? I want to see this movie now.
This movie's amazing. I will just warn you, there are lots of scenes of people walking.
Now, do you notice that?
Dude, she's hot.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry, I
Caroline
didn't mean to interrupt.
Monroe.
Yeah, she's
And
hot.
I swear she was an influence for Eon Flux, that outfit.
Mm-hmm. And that actor is interesting because he began life as being a child TV evangelist. On 12 years old, talking about how praise Jesus, and
it was all a con game, and he
Yeah.
was just a kid being manipulated. Yes, it has boobs.
Oh my
A
God.
giant robot with boobs.
yes,
I need to see this movie in the worst way. This is right up my alley.
Oh, and one of the robots is a Texan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whose head is a little bit phallic, but
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. It is a fever dream, and the plot isn't much to speak of, but you're not watching it for that.
No, you're not watching it for the
And
plot.
it just keeps getting more and more over the top.
I would gladly take LSD again, even though it's been 20 years, and watch this movie.
Like,
with
I don't think they
glee.
show it, but there's like one shot where they're having this huge laser battle, and one of the guys pulls up with this big ass laser rifle. And for no reason at all, it's got these giant bat wings on it. Why? Because they can.
Because they can. Although I will tell you, avoid Star Crash 2.
Oh, yeah.
Star Crash
Okay.
2 is not good. It's not actually a sequel. It's one of those things of they named it Star Crash 2 thinking that people would actually go watch it, and it just avoid it.
Okay, because when you said Star Crash at first, I read it as StarCraft, and I was like, the video
Oh.
game that ripped off Warhammer 40K. Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, okay.
No. Much better. Much
Okay.
Much better.
No, that
more
looks
fun.
amazing, and I want to watch it, and I'm going to force Steve to watch it because I forced him to watch
and you know
my
what?
films.
There's a great surprise in it.
Is that the film that has him in it?
The Hoff.
Yes, the Hoff is in it.
Out of
Get the
nowhere,
fuck
the Hoff
out.
shows up.
Yes.
Oh, I need to see this movie now. Oh man. Okay, I know it's on YouTube somewhere, so I'm just gonna watch it
Yes,
tonight.
it is.
Chris
It's
is on
YouTube
Thanksgiving
somewhere.
break, so I don't have to get up. Oh, Troll 2 was awful.
Troll
Hate
2.
that movie.
Really?
Yes, because I don't know what it was. The only thing I liked about it was the crazy druidic chick that like made herself hot and then like
I kind of liked that character. It was
Well,
like we were watching it, and I looked at Kat. Is it wrong that I kind of thought she was hotter with the green teeth and the and the glasses?
Well,
I just remember she had a part of Stonehenge with her.
Yeah.
And
She was the
I
best
think why
part.
I didn't like the movie is I was so disgusted at the kid pissing on the food. And
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
you
I
don't-
hate this
you don't
movie.
piss on hospitality.
Yeah.
And the popcorn.
Yeah.
When the green teeth or the weird druid chick has sex with the teenager,
Yes.
popcorn
scene
just starts
actually-
filling the room.
Yes. Okay, that was the one scene that I remember. I remember that she was a druid chick and that she was hot and she screwed a teenager and there was
She
popcorn
was
everywhere.
the only reason to really enjoy. She was the only good thing about the film, and she was the only one that seemed to know it wasn't a good movie.
yeah.
And was just going to have fun with it.
Oh, the
the rest
acting
of them-
was so bad.
The rest of them took it so damn seriously.
Well, the rest of them had never acted before. I mean, the dad was literally a dentist out of community theater.
That explains a lot.
On the other hand, I'm one of the few people that actually kind of enjoyed the original Troll.
The original Troll was great.
A lot
The
of people say
original
it's this
Troll was
horrible film.
fantastic.
A lot of people really hate that film, but it's got like Michael Moriarty in it, and it's got really bizarre humor in
Well,
it.
it's got Michael Moriarty. It has the kid who played Atreyu.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah. It has oh god, the dwarf. I can't remember what his name is, but he was in Willow.
Barty?
No, it wasn't Billy Barty. It was
He was
it
also in Time
Nigosh?
Bandits.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was in Time Bandits. And the little girl was great actually. And normally I hate
Yeah.
child actors.
Well, she was a changeling,
Yeah.
and they were going off the changeling myth of she was a terror.
And it was one of the few roles of Elaine from Seinfeld where she wasn't annoying.
And having the Lockharts, mom and daughter,
Yes.
as the same character was genius.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked that film. I don't know why it gets shit on so much.
I think because people were expecting more of like a gory horror, and it was in the 80s, like they perfected horror comedy, and it was a horror comedy, just like House.
Oh, yeah.
House was a horror comedy.
Also, just how much of Harry Potter would have robbed that movie, including the fact that the family's name was the Potters and the dad's name was Harry Potter.
Yep.
Are you talking about House?
Troll.
Or Troll?
The original Troll. There are tons of things that Catholic. That was in Harry Potter. That's in Harry Potter too.
Yeah.
Wait, the dad's name is Harry Potter? What the hell?
J.K. Rowling ripped off so many people to make that book series. I loved it when I first read it in the early 2000s before I really got wise to what she was doing. She ripped off Lord of the Rings, man. So many tropes from Lord of the Rings. She ripped off so much. And like now I just absolutely I was so happy when Chris, he got the book series for Christmas one year. He got through the first book. He got through the second book. Or I'm sorry, he got halfway through the second book and then he stopped reading. We're like, what's going on? He's like, well, magic's not real. This is dumb. This is dumb fiction. I prefer nonfiction. And he never touched them again.
Wow.
That
book series killed my son's love for fiction.
For fiction or magic? Or
magic
or
too, because he says magic is nonsense. He literally, like, I don't know where he heard it from, but he was just like, magic is science that hasn't been found yet. And I was like, where did you learn that? But yeah.
Okay. When he's a little older, because it's got some adult themes, introduce him to the Piers Anthony Incarnations of Immortality series.
Well, I was going to say show him Excalibur, but
well, that too.
It's got some adult
King
themes.
Arthur. No, he does like the King Arthur mythology.
The Incarnations of Immortality series, the idea is that you live in a hyper technologized world. Alongside, there's also magic. They exist side by side.
I know what series you're talking about, because isn't there a book about death and the three fates? And yeah, I've read that series. That's a fantastic series.
Absolutely wonderful. And so I understand where he's coming from with, well, magic is stupid, but if you're there is good fiction out there, and I'd hate for him to miss out. So I'm just thinking he might enjoy that series, but you're his mom. You can gauge the level of adult he can read. I mean, I was actually handed that series, well, the Piers Anthony books, probably a little young. I was handed them at 8. So
oh wow. See, I didn't read the Xanth series till I was in my early 20s, and I actually read the other series that you just said its name and it went out my head. I was
Incarnations of Immortality.
Thank you. We were on our honeymoon and I had finished my book, and we were walking around one of the tube stations, and on a pale rider, or on a pale horse, was there. And I was like, I want to read this. So I picked it up and I blew through it. And then Steve and I went to another bookstore so I could find the one about Kronos, the second one.
That one's
and yeah, but the time that we came back, we went to Barnes and Noble and bought the rest of the series because Steve got into it too. I was like, you have to read this book. It's so fucking good. It's really good pulp magic. And yeah,
it is.
Yeah, that was good pulp magic. So he likes Hardy Boys. He really likes mysteries.
Really?
And that's fiction. So yeah, he actually does like mysteries.
I got 2, since he likes mechanical things and robots.
Okay.
1, Starship Troopers dropped that in front of him. Very first
have
book
that.
ever to have power armor in a military setting. And then a great follow-up, All You Need Is Kill.
Yes.
That is a
We
great
own
book.
both of those books.
Okay.
So
Good.
I would say that All You Need Is Kill is like one of those books that you could put in any high school class for boys and they'd like. And it is really worth reading.
Well, again, I donated our copy to your mom's class because the fiction that they had was the beginnings of that woke shit and everything was for girls. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, boys need some fiction too
Every
here.
book she had on the fucking shelf for their hour of free reading was either Twilight or Hunger Games, or there was one other series, but it was all romance crap for girls.
Aragon.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's
Okay,
like, no, boys need fiction too.
when I was working with special ed kids for San Diego Unified, and I was working in a classroom where it was a combination between English language learner and then kids that had like dyslexia and stuff, the books in that room were the same as the ones that you just listed. So I brought in my trade paperbacks for the boys. So I brought in like The Long Halloween.
Nice.
I brought in V for Vendetta, which I probably shouldn't have, but the kids really the boys like that. To the point, I trusted these kids enough that they actually brought in their trade paperbacks that I hadn't read yet, and we'd trade them for like a week, and then we'd bring them back. And so my Long Halloween and oh gosh, Batman Year One, like they're so worn now. They were so pristine before I took them in, but so many kids read them. It got to the point where actually I would go to comic book stores around the county on free comic book day and ask if they wouldn't mind donating comic books to the classroom. And so I had a stack of comic books I brought in for the kids.
Nice.
And they really liked that. And then another teacher at the school was heavily into anime and manga, so she brought in her old manga for the kids to read too. So they ditched those books and they were reading trade paperbacks and manga instead because those books were shit. And like I was bringing in the good stuff. This is before everything went super fucking woke.
Yeah.
Well, you are awesome, and those kids are probably going to remember you forever for doing that.
Oh, and by the way, I'm going to just say something to the 21 people currently listening. I'm sure a lot of you listen to Just Some Guy, and he goes on a rant today.
Oh, shit.
Called Hypocritical Right-Wingers or something to that effect. And he goes on this rant about how a conservative group of parents is trying to get a number of books pulled from public schools. And he goes on this long rant about, oh yeah, you're all for free speech until you don't like something. I am sorry. I almost always agree with Just Some Guy, but this time around, I gotta call bullshit. One, removing certain books from especially elementary schools is not censorship, especially when he's arguing books like fucking Genderqueer. I mean, he lists a lot of these books that they had censored or they had removed from high schools and elementary schools.
By the way, this is from the schools themselves. This isn't from the public libraries.
Yeah, there's nothing about public library, just the school library. I decided, you know what, obviously he didn't do the homework, so I did, and I looked up every single one. Really, the only one that that I agree they shouldn't have banned or wanted to remove was The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. And I know why they
never be removed.
No, I know why they wanted that removed, but it's a stupid reason. And that's because it portrays rural people in a negative light and they take it personally. But every other book listed for the most part either was like one was an actual propaganda guide for 4 to 8-year-olds showing them how to do left-wing protests. And it had, what was it? Was it the group La Raza and BLM and all that? It shows the kids making signs for them and going out and protesting, and it's a how-to. They had the book Genderqueer, which if I'm sure you all guys have heard of that thing. It's an abomination. There was one that he claimed was just a sex ed guide, but I looked at it and it had full-on graphic gay sex, straight sex, and child nudity.
Ew.
I can see why. And we're not talking like the instruction manual pictures that we used to get in health ed, where it was just like, silhouettes or stick figures or outlines. Do you remember those? No,
Yeah.
these are full on illustrated people going at it with
And
body hair and everything.
just to clarify, I was saying ew because that
Yeah.
is an elementary school book. I don't really care if you're gay or straight, but like
Yeah.
showing naked children to children and showing full-blown sex to children, that's
Yeah.
a fucking ew. Like that's
Um,
gross.
agree.
Another book that had been banned was because it flat out says on the cover, all profits go to Black Lives Matter. It's like, no, there's a reason all of these books were listed. And, if he's going to make that kind of rant or, claim, I really think he should do his homework first and look into what's being claimed before defending it or claiming or crying hypocrite. I see every reason why a parent wouldn't want their kids reading most of that stuff. So anyway.
I agree with fully. I mean, I've kind of stopped listening to a lot of people I used to listen to because I feel now that they are baiting, not masturbating, but
Yeah.
that
Clickbaiting.
everything's kind of died down. Their points are being proven. We're seeing it every day with news and things that have happened. I mean, perfect example, the Rittenhouse case. And I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying, people have woken up. But that means that people who have thrived on this kind of stuff, the money's not coming in like it used to, or the views. And
Well,
so
just some
I've
guys,
noticed that with a few people.
just some guys, usually pretty reasonable and even-handed. But yeah, this one kind of surprised me.
I wonder if maybe he's a free speech absolutist, though, isn't he? I
Maybe.
wonder if that's where he's coming from.
Yeah, but that doesn't. That's an adult concept. I don't believe that for elementary school kids.
Oh
Let's
yeah,
face
no,
it.
I totally agree.
Penthouse has no place in an elementary school.
Oh, there's a reason there are obscenity laws, and as much as like I am all about free speech and defending people's free speech, there still has to be a limit. There has to be a limit for everything in moderation, like the saying goes. And
Well,
you don't show. Oh, go ahead.
I'm very much on the absolutist side for free speech for adults.
Yes, that's where I am at. But you don't
Parents
show
have a
this
right
stuff
to
to
raise
kids.
their own damn kids.
No, hey, as a parent, I agree. I'm glad that the school Chris goes to does not teach sex ed to the elementary school kids. Steve and I have been teaching him, and we've been doing it in pieces. We haven't gotten into everything. So right now he just knows, tab A, slot B means babies. And that's a very, how do I want to put it? That's like, long story short, he knows what's up.
Yeah.
But we haven't gotten into the romantic parts yet because he hasn't asked and he's not sexually active yet, so he doesn't need to know that part. Now, when he does start getting that way, then I told Steve, I was like, have fun with the condom and the banana, honey. So yeah, I don't like the fact that they're teaching all this stuff to children in school. It really chaps my hide. I don't like the fact that they're showing elementary school kids how to use anal beads. Fuck that shit. That you don't show that to my kid ever.
No.
And sex ed books should not be in elementary schools teaching kids how to masturbate.
That blew my mind. Like, why are you teaching kids to do something that they probably didn't even know how to do and would have discovered way later
on their own? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, all of us do. I would be, I'm so glad that my kid goes to a charter school because I don't know if I could handle public school these days. I'd be freaking out.
Well, I'm trying to find my comment on his thread, but it does not appear to be there anymore. Huh. No, I actually went through and I commented on nearly every book he listed about why it was probably pulled. And I even said some of them that probably shouldn't have been pulled, but I can understand why some parents would. But yeah, it's just it's like, dude, know
You're
what
at
you're
10
talking.
hours ago, so I don't think that's.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess not. Yeah, I'm going through all the old posts.
Well, I'm seeing the comments here in our thread, and it sounds like a lot of people didn't really agree with what he said today either.
Well, yeah,
So,
because school, public education is not uh, the domain of adults and what is it? Freedom of inquiry and freedom of speech. No, no. Unfortunately, in high school and elementary, there are limits, and they're there for a very good reason. And I even told him also another one because he made this rant about how a lot of parents are irresponsible and schools should teach kids about sex. And I said, back in the 90s, I would have thoroughly agreed with you. But after all the weird pedo and gay shit that's been going on with teachers, I don't really trust them. I just don't. There's been one too many instances of these woke teachers teaching kids the most bizarre shit.
oh yeah, and they brag about it too. They're like, I'm a so and so revolutionary and I'm going to convert
Yeah.
your kids. I'm just like, wow. If I ever heard or saw one of Chris's teachers doing that, I'd yank him out of that school so fast. And yeah, you know what? Like, here's something that's gonna probably freak people out because I did work for school districts, so I do know how they work. Um, so once a teacher gets tenure, they don't get fired because they're protected by tenure. It's not a
Yeah.
meritocracy. Yeah. So you guys know that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a shitty teacher at a school, you can't fire them. You just bounce them around to other schools, because also the teachers union, which I think needs to have a total overhaul because the teachers union is just as bad as the teachers themselves.
Yeah.
But Steve and I read an article, this was like 10, 15 years ago, that really freaked us out. In the Los Angeles school district, there were several male teachers zapped for pedophilia and molesting children or doing vulgar acts to children. Here's an example. A teacher decided that the students were going to have a blind taste test on cookies that he had baked. One of the sets of cookies was plain, the other set was frosted in his own semen.
Ugh.
And all the kids did not like, obviously, the frosted semen cookies. So the kids told their parents about it, and the parents thought it was kind of weird, and he was doing other weird things. And it finally came out that, he was doing these disgusting things. And instead of firing him and sending him to fucking jail, they sent him to another school.
Yeah,
Completely erased his record.
The junior high I went to had 2 instances of teachers engaging in pedophilia, and neither got fired. They just got moved around.
Yep. And so,
And
yeah,
in fact, the one of the pedo cases, that even isn't what got him moved. It was when he punched a kid.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope, he was a gym teacher.
Oh my God.
This was a gym teacher I had, and he had installed a loudspeaker in the locker room, and he would sit there and comment on our bodies about how yummy we all looked,
Oh my God.
and like
That's
howl at us
fucking
over this
awful.
loudspeaker. And it didn't matter how many complaints he got. It wasn't until he hit somebody that they actually moved him.
Oh my
California,
God.
everyone. California
Yeah, I
school
was gonna say
district.
this happened in California. Other school districts are much better at not by much, but California school districts. I have known people who fucked their own students that were teachers, and they just got bounced around.
Jesus.
Yeah, like yeah, just I mean, my dad would get hit on when he was younger. He'd get a hit on the students because he was like 23 when he started teaching, and he was teaching seniors. So, but the girls would give him love letters, and instead he brought them home to my mom to read, and they would sit and laugh about it in good humor. Because there was one I wish I could find it because I would read it to you guys online about how my dad moved like a sexy panther, how
Oh my
lithe and muscular.
God.
They were laughing their asses off. So my dad had 17, 18-year-old girls hitting on him all the time, and he never acted on it. You know, like,
'Cause he's a decent
because there were
person.
boundaries. In fact, like I say, he took the love letters home to my mom, and they would sit and like drink beer and laugh their asses off. Because she would say, "Oh, Chris, you look like such a lithe and muscular panther." He'd be walking around in his PJs. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And finally they told me, I was like, oh my God, I am scarred for life.
Kat, you
Yeah.
are a live and muscular panther.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh
I'm
my God. It was
reminded
so,
of Kim and Kim, where it's like he's like a cheetah.
oh God.
All right. Well, it's 1:50. We've been on for an hour and 15, so let's
Oh
call it an
shit.
evening.
Okay.
But thank you for joining us, everyone. And Ghostbusters doesn't suck.
Yeah,
Yes,
go
Ghostbusters
check it
doesn't
out.
suck.
I am, and I just recently finished my latest art project, so that means I'm working on my trap next.
Awesome.
Oh,
Good
I
night,
can't wait
everyone.
to see that. Night.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.